Remember, murring. That's the brew.
Murring.
See, Noongas used to, they're nomadic people, so they would use an exchange. They'd come up there and they'd get our quandongs. You couldn't see a quandong growing around here. So we'd exchange quandongs for maybe a feed of mullet or herring or something. Or something that's grown here, like the Menang, the Menang root, the blood root for a bit of medicines.
Because after the millers had been here and cut down all these trees, the government surveyed the land into little farms and sold it off to pioneer farmers. They all started moving in about 1909 and the town started to grow again.
Biodynamics changes it from that orangey colour to that type of colour there, and it's the microbes that have lived and died and they become the humus of the soil. This beautiful soil worms in it. It's like chocolate cake, you just about eat that.
Yum.
It's a real journey for the students. It's a whole year's study, only 2 days a week, but they're with us for a year and they get to see all the cycles in the garden from winter through to winter again. One is they can go into industry jobs from here because the certificate they study is a production horticulture certificate, so they can go out there and work for a nursery or another market garden. But mainly I see people these days coming into the course to grow their own vegetables in their backyard, and we try and inspire them with what to do with their excess. So whether they can trade with other people, maybe sell a little bit to the local shops, process it to value add their excess produce.
It was the only TAFE I could find in all of Australia that had a certified organic farmlet, giving me the tools that I need to go ahead in a direction that I feel is so worthwhile and is going to contribute so much to something that's sadly missing now. That we're not producing vegetables in a sustainable way. So it's just empowering, I guess.
So we set it up because we wanted to have a food growing both for the benefit of the Centre for Sustainable Living. For example, the herb garden is used all the time in the kitchen there, but also as an educational resource for students and visitors.
So most of our bush foods are pretty well used for everything, a bit of your food and medicines. And, it's not just the one usage. Well, I find myself putting in more bush tucker gardens here than what I ever put around. The little school over here's got that bush tucker garden, and they got every variety of bush tucker in there. And this here for cuts and that, and bites.
Oh.
Yeah. but the actual fruit is beautiful, like a fig.
Shows them skills that they can go up and buy a little packet of seeds, bring it back, plant it, grow it, and then what we can do with it there. And we're also providing our canteen with produce as well, so they can cook for the whole school. The fact that they can take it from the shelf to the plate is fantastic, and they enjoy it. They think it's great. So yeah, that's it.
They get to get dirty, which is really important, and they get to eat things that they've grown and watch, how seeds grow into big plants and then they die off and plant some more, and yeah, they really enjoy it.
Planting, playing, just being in the outdoors and eating.
Just colours and everything, and all the bugs and everything else that goes along with it. It's not just the food either, and the social interaction of it too.
Started off, we had a house cow, and when people knew we had homegrown milk, they wanted some, and one cow wasn't enough after a little while, so we got more, and the more cows we got, the more customers we had.
Some of the kids that first started coming in my class, a bit tentative, a bit unsure, and just knowing that their nurture is valued, I think that really has made them feel more worthwhile about themselves.
It's where we put all of the food scraps we have in it, and they get composted down, and then we can put it back in the garden. We get them from all of the lunches or recesses people have in the school. My class and other classes, they collect all the food scraps. It's quite recyclable.
Tomatoes ready. Really? That's very I really feel the garden brings all different parts of the community together.
There's a lot of women who don't like gardening, they love gardening.
Yeah. Well, I was a little bit apprehensive at first, but I think it's working out all right.
Getting them hands-on, tell them, get to do it, get their hands dirty, and into it, and there's so much to learn.
Every week, something new, something that I didn't know about, just things, for example, the benefits of weeds, things that we'd normally pull out of the garden and throw away, and learning how they're actually beneficial and even edible. A more sustainable way of growing the veggies that's putting more into the ground and the earth than actually taking out.
Well, it's a very, very loose-knit organisation. When we went along, we said, oh, this is good. We went along just once as a visitor and said, how do we join? And they said, you're here, aren't you? And that's how you join. Just a group of people who get together to go around and enjoy gardens.
It's a lovely social group.
So when we came down here, this was manna from heaven, untold acres to play with. The only trouble is now I'm getting too old to play with them. But I can still walk around and supervise, of course.
Permaculture is all about design, and the most important thing you need to design in your life is, of course, your lifestyle.
You know, because you can do it on a backyard or you can do it on, you know, hundreds of acres.
Your lifestyles are about providing yourself with good food, good accommodation, good friends, living a sustainable and chemical-free and a lifestyle that's worthwhile.
You know, a yield, it's not just about, okay, how many carrots you might pull out of a space of ground, how much energy you actually save in the process of, you know, moving things around as well from place to place.
They're quite big herrings, eh? And they've probably been in here about 3 years now. Jan packs them up into parcels and we sell them at the gate. I grow quite a few of my own vegetables, and we got our own fruit in the garden here. Where's you, Jan? Come on, get in the picture here. I'll put this down the front of your shirt if you don't.
And all told, we cleared about $5,000 for charity, which was lovely. And then there's also a food giveaway run by the church that I go, the Uniting Church. And so any spare vegetables get down, and some lovely people put them in boxes for people in need. And so lovely friends that you make, and it's just lovely to go down to Denmark and people come up and say, how's your garden, John? And it's very nice. A little bit of Garden of Eden, if you like.
Yeah, the bananas we put in within our first couple of years here, so they've been probably 8 years, and we did a lot of work on preparing the site first, did a lot of work with the soil, and created this microclimate with thermal mass and got the angles right to the northeast, and put them in.
We have 2 apiaries, and they're normally kept together in the same site, which is approximately around 200 hives. The peppermint comes from down by Parry's Beach here. Some are quite local, like the Carry as well is quite local down off Redmond Road and places like that, whereas like the Jarrah in spring, the bees were taken out to Kojonup, which is quite far away, depending on the season and the flow of the nectar.
We sell whole foods, bulk foods, fruit, vegetables, do boxes of vegetables once a week for people. And generally have a good social time.
Producing enough for the family, well, enough for 3 families to begin with, just us now. But we swap with other people, things they've got that we haven't got.
This land here is from Gracewood Farm, which is just in Denmark. Can't get any more local than that.
It's every Saturday morning I go across to the Albany Farmers Market. The Albany Markets, all the fresh goods are picked on the Friday. So to us, you can't get any fresher than that.
They were on the phone, mobile phone, and the lady was at the counter talking away to someone, and she goes, "Oh, we're in this funny little shop down around the corner, and it's got everything. It's got what I've been looking for."
Use sustainable and local produce as much as we can, otherwise it becomes regional, and nothing really out of Western Australia, but preferably everything within 150 kilometres. We use local goats, cheese to make our ice creams from, local fish, local vegetables for our house pastes and curries and everything like that. This is a local rabbit white pudding, so we use local rabbit, sourdough, Bill Laura's organic cream, local chilies, local pork again, and then I have Bowbridge venison, which I cure myself. We sit in molasses and honey, local honey brine, local wine for 2 weeks, then we smoke it for 3 weeks. And the dumplings have got local stone ground flour, organic eggs, fresh chilies, coconut milk obviously is not local, okay, but everything else in that broth is, even down to the salt. Using local fruit, local goat's cheese, everything in the sauté on to make the ice cream was local eggs.
The best thing that happened to us was to get involved with selling directly to the Albany farmers market. We've really expanded along with the farmers market. We've broadened our range over the years, and we're probably still making additions to our list of items that we grow and sell.
Just getting our hands dirty. I like the garden because you get to work with your hands, and I like the feel of dirt.
Getting in touch with the land and knowing their country.
A lot of people are like, I don't know how to grow stuff. It's really, really easy. Organic produce is so important. I wouldn't use anything else. We love having the kids here. It just changes the whole atmosphere of CWA. These are our two best little gardens here.
For me, I've just always done it. My dad always did it, and I've always done it. So it's just what I do.
First started getting interested in gardening when I was a small boy. And my father was a keen gardener.
And then having kids was the key to it for me, just wanting security of food supply, knowing where our food was coming from.
It's lovely to supply food, good food to people. It's fun.
I wouldn't have it any other way, That these days there's a lot more passionate, independent suppliers that are up just as much as us. Milking cows and goats at 3 in the morning and stuff, and then when it all comes together, it just really makes sense,
Oh, it goes right back to wanting to be a farmer when I was a boy, and I never was. And
it's a lot better for the soul, like you're out with nature and you can work away and listen to the birds.
I'm 85 now, and we got so many friends, customers, and we just enjoy talking to them,
I guess it's really getting other people growing. I thought there's a lack of people growing organic food and a lack of skill base out there. So if I could inspire people to grow more organic produce, there'd be more growers out there in general.
My mum grew the most amazing vegetable garden with nothing more than cow poo. And the flavour was just impeccable.
And it's a really special thing when we can serve up a meal and sit down to eat, and everything on the plate is something that's come out of the garden.
It's a good reason to get out of bed in the morning.
There's nothing like picking your own carrots, and it's fresh from the garden just when you're about to eat it. It just tastes better than anything else.
It has the vitality of just being picked this morning and nothing's escaped, and it hasn't used thousands of litres of fuel in getting it here.
Yeah, I think because local food for me equals fresh food, having not travelled any distance, it means that the nutrients that are available in that food will be maximised for our health.
It's the freshest, it's the healthiest, it's the cleanest for the environment. Well, it's important for the economy of Denmark. You want to buy locally if you can.
Of course, it's vital for as we go into an age of peak oil and climate change and the need to reduce our carbon footprint, but also it's for the health benefits and the benefits of just growing our own food. At home, I spend a lot of time in my own garden, and it's really a great stress reliever.
And for kids too, you know, if you've got fussy kids, if they've got something that they've helped to grow and harvest, and that they're more likely to eat it, really. So
it was fresh and it's growing here.
It's also the travel that this food, you know, undergoes that's a bit scary, really.
I can't afford not to, really. You know, I worked in a health food shop and organic food, it's so expensive, isn't it? And you know, well, everything else is just very cheap.
It's a really special feeling to have a meal that's completely homegrown, where you know there's nothing that's been brought in. You know, even the salt comes from the ocean down the road.
Well, I think we like the fresh produce and knowing what poisons haven't been used on it, if we don't use any poisons. And you know what you're eating. And the vegetables taste a lot nicer.
I mean, there's just more and more coming in. Local people are getting onto it. People are really taking note of what they eat now. There's such a huge market, everybody wants spray-free.
There's no excuse down here, man. We've got so much stuff in the region that, you know, you shouldn't have to shop outside this region.
Local food's what you want.
You know, it's going to help the community and the country out. And if we can keep our money within the community, and then the community grows and develops, and you know, support the local community as much as we can. We can grow just about any fruit, just about any vegetable, cattle, beef, grains. We're ideally suited for it. We've got a community here that really could come together and create a really great community, instead of a good community, a great community. And a lot of that's the thing we have one control over, and that's what we put in our mouths.
I see eventually that this being a model organic garden that can educate not just students but other parts of the community tying into it to expand our knowledge of growing in this area organically. There's so few people that are doing it, and there's so much to understand that we need more and more people to be involved. So
it's ideal, you know. I mean, it's got the humidity, it's got certainly got the moisture for a lot of our potatoes and that, you know, the bush potatoes, which is your Wallimars and your Yeegenups and Yorks and all that sort of stuff. You know?
I think we've barely scratched the surface of growing the food we need. I think we need to do more to encourage organic horticultural businesses here, because so that they can start to grow organic food on a large enough scale. Denmark needs to take advantage of what it's got going for it, which its soils, its climate, its rainfall.
The soil down here is good, the climate is good. You can grow an enormous variety of plants down here.
Really, like, start with window boxes or small raised beds, and you know, just start small and start near your back door. That's a real permaculture sort of thing. Small and slow solutions.
Back to more traditional methods. There should be no dramas in it.
It's a very important area in terms of life on this planet. While we at the moment in history we have this luxury of being able to have all these well-travelled foods, we don't need them. This land can sustain us.
my dream is to be that we'll go completely, the whole Shire can be the first organic Shire.
I'd love to see Denmark become the organic capital of Western Australia. And I think the council is clever enough to believe that that could be possible.
Obviously we're known as a fairly green town, and I think that green aspect could be taken a lot further.
Takes try and stop us, you know, just the ideas just keep coming and coming, and hey, this can all evolve from this little rectangle here. Yeah. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I'd like to see that we're at least partly, if not self-sufficient in our food, and to begin to just enjoy our food seasonally.
I just think the more people that can get involved, just to give the kids an education more than anything else, because at some point they'll make the decisions for themselves.
I think we look around and we see all this grass that the high school's got, and we can turn that all into valuable food growing areas.
I'd love to see eventually us doing workshops here on bottling and pickling and what do you do with the excess that you get out of your garden. I would love to see all the CWAs across Western Australia with vegetable gardens.
So I want to be able to teach people as well about being more self-sufficient and more sustainable, and you know, all that sort of stuff that we can do closer to home. That will help, because one person can make a difference. You know. The thing I think would make the biggest difference to like the world is just to see farmers get a real price, true price for their food.
Be in control of our own lives, not rely on someone else.
A lot of feedback in regards to the lamb, that it was the best tasting lamb they've ever had.
I just think this course here in Denmark's fabulous. It's really just given me so much more confidence and just such a desire to go out there and push the organic gamut.
It is good fun.
A week wouldn't go past without a phone call from someone in Perth wanting to know where they can get the product. And I just say you have to come to Denmark.
When people say things like, oh, I'll never see weeds in the same way again, you know.
They come in and look at the box and think, oh, this is wonderful.
We have so many people say they love our little shop.
But the best customers we have is the people that actually go away and start growing for themselves, and they really start to get an understanding what is important to have good food and grow good food. So it's a happy place to be, because we're happy to be there to sell it to them, and they're happy to come and buy it off us because it makes them feel good.
Biodynamically grown, organically grown food's nutrient rich, so you don't actually have to have as much of it to have the same benefit.
If it's not in the soil, it can't be in the food.
Someone picks up a chop in Rockingham, it's the same as a chop in Albany. It's crazy. Whereas ours, right up to the last moment, grass-fed, and you get that flavour through the country, through it. It's wonderful.
I hate the idea of product being shipped in from the eastern states when we've got equally good product or better products right here in our own town.
Butter, for example, in Western Australia is often sent over to the eastern states to be packaged and then sent back to Western Australia, having had a wrapping put on it. Is that not crazy?
They might have to pay a little bit more for the product, but it's so much better.
Generally we tend to just be a bit hesitant about giving, and once we freely give to the garden, that's reinforcing the nurturing aspect of ourselves.
Some students have never dug potatoes, which, I mean, to me it's an essential part of life for a human to be able to dig a potato. You know, it's just great, it's like finding gold.
I think gardening is one of the great activities that we can have in this life.
Most people eat packaged prepared food and it's shit, it does have no nutrition, and just having like half a dozen chives on your breakfast is probably
100% improvement.
Study your bioregion, find out what is appropriate and able to grow, then you just be amazed how many things you can grow.
And anybody that's starting out, start on a small scale.
Anybody who's got a quarter of an acre block should be able to produce most of their vegetables and fruit in any 1 year. You are what you eat, there's no doubt about that.
I think the best clue is that gardening, I feel, always starts with the soil. And
community at its most fundamental level is a shared source of food and water. The centre of a community is often around food and eating.
That at the end of it, it's all there, and we really need to have it there for the future. And it shouldn't be about advertising and tricking the way that labels are, so you guys feel better about yourselves. It should really genuinely be about the best possible life for that animal and the best possible respect that there is at the end of it, and that includes music, all of it. I respect these animals enough to go out and see these animals in the paddock. I'll pick the one I want, and just between me and him, there's nothing said or anything, but it's just a little bit of respect.
Healthy food, and healthy food comes from healthy soil, and that's really the secret behind everything. I reckon healthy people are happy people. People have actually lost touch with what is in season and how things grow.
And here we sort of believe that you need to leave a place better than you found it.
Talk about reconciliation. It's coming right down to the nitty gritty. We're starting to share our food now. You know.
Down to the earth, but down to the ground, living a life that's true. The people are planting the tiniest seeds, step by step they sow. Before you can blink, whoever would think the enormity of what will grow. Transition. The masses are gathering, joining ideas, choosing a different way, calling the leaders around the world to listen to what they say, calling for action to reverse the mess created by you and me. A new world created through love and respect and perfect harmony.
Whatever doom and gloom